the Hollowback shape. Namaste everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Mat, and we have a new person from the community on the mat today.
Hi, I'm Anis. I recently came to Singapore and one of the new students at NIPSOI here. One of the reasons I started yoga was to balance the competitive sports that I played. It was a really good way to bring self-awareness to my body as well as focus more on my inner self.
So the practice of the Hollowback shape is an exploration of a particular engagement in the body that then takes you into several poses that we practiced in last week's basic, essential, and intermediate level class. In this sequence, feel free to incorporate a short grounding session at the start and finish with a nice long shavasana at the end to take this into a full 60-minute class. Let me check in with Anis right now. She's ready to begin. Yep. Okay, let's start. Let's begin the practice today in a supported fish pose. So this will be an upward facing back bend that uses a block to help you open up your spine. So grabbing the blocks, and if you are practicing at home and you do not have the use of a block, you can be using a cushion or a stack of books. The block is placed at the area of the upper back. And you will be lying down over the block, taking the body up and over. Your sit bones will be on the mat, and you can do this with the knees bent or the feet together and legs straight. As a guide, you would be in the most comfortable position if you have your head supported. If you need the support, then you will use a second block behind the head as a pillow. Staying with the arms down for the first few moments of your practice. It might not feel very comfortable at first, but if you persist and try to develop a kind of allowing or acceptance, your body can melt into this pose and start to feel beautifully opened and lengthened. Supported fish pose is a way of tractioning your spine. That means not just it is giving you a back bend, but it is also helping to facilitate the creation of space between each and every vertebrae of your spine, which then helps the spine to move with so much ease and with the minimum feeling of congestion or impingement. Please now explore what it feels like to stretch the arms out to the sides. And then even you can take the arms overhead. You can fully extend out the arms if that feels nice, or perhaps even holding the opposite elbows with your hands. And continue to breathe as you allow the block or the blocks to do all the work for you. Your job is just to remain inside the body and inhabit your pose. Working as well to deepen and lengthen each and every passing breath. Inhaling into the chest and exhale, pulling the navel inwards. That'll do. If the arms are overhead, please lower them down first. Arms close to the body, bend your knees, walk the feet in close to your hips, and then slowly press your way off the blocks. We want to lie flat on the mat again, so remove everything out, and we are lying down. Good. And as you lay on the mat, take a moment to keep the spine nice and long. You guide the tailbone downwards as you guide the crown of the head upwards towards the top of your mat. And when you feel the spine has appropriately reset and you are able to move comfortably again, then rolling over to rest on your side for a few more breaths, and then coming up to a tabletop or hands and knees position, working from hands and knees. From hands and knees, now explore movement in your spine. Coordinate this with your beautiful regulated breathing. Inhale, arch your spine. Exhale, ground your back. Good. Inhale, arching the body, coordinating with your breathing. Exhale, rounding the back. With a deep, long breath in, open up front line of the body. Look up as you lift your tailbone. With a deep, long breath out, we push the heart away from the mat, drop the chin down, tailbone between the legs. One last cow pose. Inhale. Elbows bent, Asana pranayama, knees, chest, chin. Exhale, you want the chest resting on the mat in this pose. Chin slides forwards. Your hips are high, tailbone lifted. Strengthen the back to find the height of your hips. Keep the chest grounding as you even explore deepening the pose by walking the knees closer underneath the body and the hips go higher. You might even try to pull the heart away from the chin. That will help you open up the throat just a little bit more. Good. Then drop the hips down so that you lie flat and prone on the mat for a cobra pose. Very nice. Okay. Keeping the elbows hugging close to the body and awakening the strong back muscles. Exhale pushes you back, tabletop position, hands and knees. Good. Try this again. Arch your spine. Inhale. Look up as you lift the tailbone. Now bring it back down again. Knees, chest, and chin. Asana pranayama. Elbows bent. In this second one, you extend your arms forwards in front of you. This gives you a stretching of the shoulders. Stay again. You want the grounding of your chest as the top priority of this pose. Please don't bring undue strain on the neck by loading up onto the chin. This means you might modify by resting your cheek on the mat, turning the head to the side to relieve tension in the neck as an option. Okay, and then at this point, if you want a tricep stretch as well, you can level the intensity of the stretch by bending the elbows, guiding the hands behind the head. And staying with this shape for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, lying flat, face down on the mat again. Good. Slide the hands back in, AB Cobra, number 2. Inhale up. In the second one, you are lifting the hands slightly off the mat and gaining that beautiful awakening of the muscles along your back. Even you work your legs, which are the glutes and your quads and your shins, all the way down to the feet. Exhale, release. And coming back to tabletop, inhale for 1 back bend. And 1 last time today. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, Asana pranayama. In your third and final variation, see if this works, that you can reach back with both your hands and interlace the fingers behind the hips. Good. No strain in the neck, please. Keep the weight on the chest. As you clasp the hands together, squeeze the elbow shoulder blades together behind the body and even start to lift the arms off the mat, away from the hips. Finding openness in your shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, lowering down, lying flat in a prone position. Now let's do that full cobra. Inhale 1 vertebrae at a time. First the chin, then the neck, shoulders, chest, belly starts to lift off the mat. You keep the grounding of your hips, but you find length in the lower back. The legs are active. Beautiful, and even you are pulling the heart forwards between the gateway of the arms. Maximum stretching in the front line. Minimum compression in the lower back. And that'll do. Exhale takes you to your first downward facing dog position. Downward facing dog. Please go ahead and paddle out your feet, left and right, heels and toes, And like this, you might even be swaying the hips side to side, bringing one shoulder closer towards the mat at a time. Or whatever is your practice that helps you to awaken and prep your body. Good, and when you're ready, come up on tiptoes. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, bring knees to chest and look forwards in front of you. Next breath, please step to the front of the mat. Left foot, right foot. We take a halfway lift. Look up with a nice straight spine. Exhale, folding, guiding the crown of the head down towards the big toe. Inhale, lengthen upwards. And then exhale, come back down to the mat, folding. Staying with the breath, take a halfway lift. Inhale. Please step your left foot to the back of the mat, lowering your left knee down on the exhalation. Okay, keep your left hand exactly where it is and start to lift the right arm up in a twist. Opening to a kneeling variation of the side angle pose. For the next few breaths, explore how far you can reach in this pose. Your right arm trying to reach to the left side of your mat, even your gaze to the left. Please do this carefully. You are trying to create a stretching at the shoulder and chest and avoid hyperextending or moving too much the joint of the shoulder itself. Good. Now try to reach your back foot. Hold the foot with your right hand, lifting the foot off the mat. Okay, bring the heel in to kiss your hip. And stay with the stretching of the quad. You will feel it in the hip flexor as well. If you find you need more space in this pose, you can lift the hip up slightly higher. Good, and stay allowing the stretch to happen to the body. When you're ready, holding the ankle now, and for the next few breaths, explore kicking the foot as far away from the body as possible. Allow the spine movement as well. It's as if you're trying to touch your toes to the mat behind you. Beautiful. Nice and open. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release with your hands down on the mat in front of you. Let's do a hamstring stretch. So still kneeling, pull your hips back, straighten the right leg. Take a breath in, look up, and lengthen. Maintain that length as you fold. Exhale, let's come down with squared hips. Counter stretching the spine. Guiding the crown of the head towards your big toe, breath by breath. Good. And that'll do. Carefully now we rock forwards, front knee bends. With the back leg, let's lift the back knee off the mat. And ground the back heel inwards towards the center line to find warrior one position. Squared hips, arms up. Take one breath. As you look upwards, you lengthen upwards. As you exhale, you find more grounding and you deepen the expression of the pose by sinking a little bit deeper. Good. Inhabit the space you had just created in your hip flexor. Dropping that tailbone down. And that'll do. Release from your warrior one pose by placing the hands down to the mat and stepping back to plank. From plank, we will lower to a Chaturanga Dandasana, a low push-up, but feel free to do a knees, chest, chin. Inhale, then an upward dog, but feel free to do a cobra if you wish. And exhale takes you to downward facing dog. Your vinyasa then can be any option that suits your practice. You can even arrive directly at downward dog whenever called to do a vinyasa. With that, let's come up and tiptoes again. Inhalation. Exhale, knees to chest, looking forwards. Next inhale, please step to the front with your left foot, right foot at the front of the mat in a halfway lift. Next, exhale, you forward bend. Good. And you come up to standing and give the arms a big, beautiful stretching upwards. Exhale, hands to the mat, forward bending. Okay, stay with the breath, halfway lifting, inhale. Right foot back, right knee down, exhale. With the right hand on the mat, spread out your left arm, open to the left in a twist. Breathe and revolve the body, and even work to reach towards the right side of the mat, up and over. Finding the twist from the spine, finding the openness in the chest and shoulders. Mindful of that shoulder joint on that left arm though. Good. One more breath. And then release, using that left hand to catch your back foot. Bring the back heel up. Guide the heel of the foot in to kiss your hip, or as close towards the hip as you can, until you feel that stretch happening in the quad and in the right hip flexor. To deepen the stretch, you lower the hips even closer to the mat. To make it more manageable, opposite movement, hips slightly higher. First few breaths to create the quad stretch. Next few breaths to explore kicking back with leverage. Opening the chest, opening left shoulder, mobilizing spine, touching toes maybe to the mat behind you. Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As you carefully release, you are going to straighten the front leg again. Pull the hips back and take a breath in. Look up as you flex the foot. The toes point towards the head. Exhale, folding. Gently bring it down. Viparita Dandasana. Pyramid pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That'll do. Carefully bending the front knee again. Moving your way up for another Warrior 1 position, Viparita Dandasana. Warrior 1 has squared hips. Achieve your squared hips by actively pushing the right hip forward and pulling left hip back. This is also a stabilization of the hip and pelvic joints. So ensure that you maintain that firm inward movement at the level of your hips. One more breath, and again, try to inhabit the space you had just created for the front of the hips. Lengthen your tailbone downwards. Good. Exhale, hands come down, and the feet step back again from plank, one vinyasa, or just arriving at downward facing dog. In from down dog pose, let's work from down dog pose this time. Extend right leg up for three-legged dog. Go ahead and swing the leg up and over to the left, staying with the lengthening of the front and sides of the body. Good. As you exhale, bring that right knee forwards to the chest in a tuck position, and have the right foot in front of you on the mat for another Warrior 1. Warrior 1 pose. Inhale, 1 breath. Exhale, return to the mat. Step back, vinyasa, or downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg, taking a few breaths, lengthening up and over to the right. Stay with the grounding of both your palms. Front line of the body, side body being stretched. Exhale, bring that knee into a tuck. Good. Inhale, find your Warrior 1 for 1 breath. Exhale, return to the mat and step back for a vinyasa to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg again, swing the leg up and over. Exhale, tuck position. Good. Warrior 1, inhale. So in this Warrior 1 position, you bend your left hand, you bring the hand behind the head, you hold the elbow with the right hand. Pull towards the center line. As you gently lift the chin, the head can help you to deepen the stretching of your left shoulder. You stay like this, supporting the elbow with the right hand, or if you have space to reach the right arm behind the body, clasp the hands together behind the body. Good. And from here, turn to the left for Warrior 2 position. Warrior 2, exhale. Let's do a reverse warrior. Inhalation. Now you can unclasp your arms and swing the right arm upwards as you take the left arm downwards. And in your reverse warrior, again, bending the right elbow, you place the right hand behind the head. Hold the elbow with the left. So now we stretch the opposite elbow in this new position. Again, those of us that wish, you can explore the left arm reaching back to clasp the hands together from behind the body. And stay now trying to maximize the lengthening on the right side from the hip to the elbow. Beautiful. Exhale, release. And please wrap the arms behind the body. Clasp the hands behind the body, interlace fingers. Take a breath in, pull the arms down the length of your back, and here you can start to straighten your legs out. Point your right toes forward, feet parallel to each other. Exhale takes you down to Viparita Dandasana Variation. Good, and this is as much of a shoulder stretch as it is a hip opener. Find the lengthening of the body. We stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up, but please ensure that you have no nausea, giddiness, or lightness in the head. And we are going to try a movement-based practice, so keep the hands clasped together. First movement, take a breath in, point your right toes forward, bending the right knee. Exhale, humble warrior. Bring the head down close to the right leg, and the arms go away from the body. Inhale brings the body back upwards again. Turn the right foot in, right leg straight. Left knee bend, left toes point. Exhale, humble warrior. Good. Inhale brings the body back upwards again. Left leg straight, left foot in. Exhale, right knee bent, right foot points. Humble warrior. And then stay with the breath. Inhale brings the body back upwards again. And then switching sides, exhale comes down to the left. Beautiful. Inhale, bring the body back up. Final round we are holding. So right foot out, left foot in. Exhale, bend the right knee, guide the crown of the head down. And as you hold the pose now, avoid holding the breath. We stay continuous with the breathing, as we now have the space to explore how deep we can enter. Movement of the arms away from the body gives you a stretching of the shoulders. Movement of the upper body downwards until one day head touching the mat finds openness in the hips. Good. Return back upwards again. Inhale, switching sides. Turning to the left. Exhale, come down and hold. Humble warrior pose. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring it back upwards again. Exhale, come with the hands down to the front of the mat. Step back your feet, plank pose position. Okay, elbows bent, and do a vinyasa to downward facing dog. Beautiful practice. Now extend left leg up for 3-legged dog. Inhale. Left leg up and over to the right. Exhale, tucking that left knee into the chest. With the left foot in front of you for a warrior 1 position. Again, as you rise up, this round you bring the right hand behind the head. You clasp the elbow with the left hand. As you pull towards the center, the head lifts, gently opening the chin. Finding movement in the right shoulder. Releasing tension by holding then and supporting the top elbow, or take your option with the left arm reach back behind you and see if the hands today can clasp together. Breathe as you pull the right elbow back, you keep the right leg straight, you create a beautiful front line stretch, all the way from elbow to back leg. Good. And release, turning to Warrior Two. Turn to the right. Reverse the warrior, inhale. And now bending the top arm again. Bring the hand behind the head. Work to hold the elbow, take the few breaths to pull and deepen. Next few breaths, maybe the opposite hand behind you, clasping the hands together. Again, the work is to maximize the lengthening of the left side of the body. Maximum length on the left. Stay with the breath, support this pose with the breath. Good. And exhale as you release this time, both hands to the hip, both legs straight. Feet point forward. Good. Take a breath in, lengthen, and exhale. One more. Prasarita Padottanasana. Place the hands on the mat underneath the shoulders. And walk the hands down in line with the toes to guide the crown of the head as close towards the mat between the feet as you can. From here, take a halfway lift. Inhale and walk the arms forwards again. Good. So please grab your left ankle with the right hand and with the right arm stretch forward even further in front of you. Bring the head underneath the right arm. Reach the right arm forwards. And then if you can, crawl it all the way to the left. If you were able to, then clasp the left ankle, then holding both feet with your hands to gently revolve the body to face it forwards to the front. Good. Stay with the length of the spine as best as you can. You feel the stretching of the shoulders here, as well as a beautiful twist that helps you to traction the spine out, continuing the work of creating space between the vertebrae, preparing yourself then for deeper back bends. Good. You can continue to hold here, but if you wish, you can explore a Viparita, a flying warrior pose. So begin by bending your left knee, and then bring as much of the left arm underneath that leg as possible. Support the pose with the leg resting over the left upper arm. Holding the foot with the opposite hand as you tuck the head under, and then as you fully extend out the leg, you slowly revolve the body upwards. So Anis is doing the full expression of this pose. That means your bottom leg is straight and it is a full side plank variation. But you feel free to lower the back knee down to the mat supporting as well. That can make it a little bit more manageable. Exhale, release slowly. Beautiful practice, Anis. Walk back between the legs to find your straight legs again. Take a breath in, look up. Exhale, and then twist to the opposite direction. Good. Using leverage to broaden across the shoulders, to find the length of the spine, and even trying to face the heart towards the front of the room. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Staying here, or perhaps you explore your flying warrior. Visvamitrasana, bend the right leg, bringing the right arm underneath the leg. The right hand is the foundation. There is a small micro bend, like a shelf, that you rest the right leg over, and then opposite hand to the foot, head tucks underneath the left shoulder, body revolves upwards. Strength of the arm, connected core, strong legs. One more breath. And release back with straight legs, walking to the space between your legs. Take a moment here, ensure no nausea or giddiness. Now walk to the front of the mat, step back your feet to plank, and do a vinyasa. Vinyasa, your way to downward facing dog. Good, so from downward facing dog, bringing the forearms down to the mat one at a time or both together, takes you into dolphin pose. Taking a moment here, a firm push of the chest towards the feet to find the openness in your shoulders. And with your stable forearms on the mat, you keep them hugging inwards towards each other to prevent the elbows sliding away from each other. Your elbows, as a guide, is about the distance of your shoulders. And you are active to not allow the body to sink in this pose. Keep the length of the tailbone. Good. Take one more breath, create more openness in the shoulders, but also the foundation of strength and stability. So just a guide here, those of us that feel we have really tight shoulders, you don't have to have the forearms parallel like what Anne is doing. You can have the hands a little bit closer, and that can give you a little bit more space. So from dolphin, please extend the right leg up like a three-legged dog and swing the leg up and over to the left. You are going to flip it over to Karasana. Inhale. Good. Body flips over. Right hand off the mat is reaching for the front. Expanding into the outward curve and maintaining strength in that left arm foundation. Beautiful. Flip it back. Come to dolphin pose again. Find that length. And then when you're ready, try this on the left leg. Inhale, left leg up and over to the right. Exhale, stepping the foot down behind you and taking the left arm off the mat. Inhale as you lengthen the front line of the body. Reach with the right hand for the front of your mat. Always from that foundation of a strong right forearm. Karasana from the forearms. Good, now flip it back, plank pose position. And then from here, one forearm off the mat at a time or both forearms together. We lift it up to downward facing dog. From downward dog, hop, jump, float, or find your way forwards to the front. Sitting down and lying flat face up in a supine position. Getting ready for Setubandha Saravangasana, bridge pose. So bring the feet in close enough that the fingers can touch your heels. Ensure that the distance of the feet and knees no wider than the distance of your hips. Take a breath in, start to lift your hips up, buttocks off the mat, inhale. And walk the shoulders underneath the chest as you try clasping the hands together underneath the body. Good, in your bridge you will focus on recruiting the strength of the upper back to find movement in the upper body. Inhabiting the space of your hip flexor to find higher hips. And in this way, you distribute the work evenly along the entire length of your spine. Stay strong for one more breath. Good. Exhale, buttocks down slowly. And take a moment. As you rest, you can counter stretch by bringing your knees in and holding the knees with your hands. And we are going to try that bridge pose position again. Let's bring the feet down, arms in position, and lifting the body in 3, 2, and 1. Good. As you clasp the hands together again and walk the shoulders underneath the chest, as you expand against the outward curve to maximize the front line stretching, can you now start to tiptoe to lift the hips up higher, and perhaps you walk the feet a little bit closer. Good. On the exhale, can you drop your tailbone down, finding an alien shape in your spine? And then inhale, lift up your hips again. And do this a few rounds. Exhale, dropping the tailbone without losing the height of the upper body. And inhale, bring the hips back upwards again. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. Good. Last one, exhale, comes down. And inhale. Lift your hips upwards, ground the heels downwards, and exhale carefully, lowering down to rest. And as you rest this round, extend the legs, feet together, legs straight. Tuck your hands underneath your sit bones. You are going to be practicing that same shape, but this time from the mat. Taking it into the basic level class pose we explored last week, called the Matsyasana or the fish pose. So let's begin by strongly pressing down into the forearms. You lift your heart off the mat. Lightly touching the crown of the head down to the mat behind you, and then staying on your sit bones as well. Beautiful. Using the breath. Pressing down strongly into the forearms. The forearms, the foundation for this pose, which means you are light on the crown of the head and light on the heels of the feet. Stay here using the breath to expand into the outward curve. But those of us that wish, if you want to explore Uttana Padasana, then you will carefully remove the foundation arms from underneath the hips, but stay on the crown of the head and your sit bones. Now extend the arms upwards 45 degrees and even start to elevate the legs. 45 degrees. Good. Stay with the breath as we hold. 5, 4, 3, rooting down to rise up. 2, strong back muscles. Strong front of the hips. And 1, carefully release. Let's come down resting on the mat. Drop the chin down to the chest to allow the head to rest. And bring the knees in again to a tuck position. That'll do. The feet coming back down to the mat again. For your third back bend, feel free to do one more bridge pose, but if you are okay to do a full wheel pose today, then prepare with the hands on either side of the head. Today, if you feel comfortable enough in wheel, you will have your arms fully extending and you can reasonably stack your shoulders above the wrist. Then do explore coming down to the forearms, just like what we did earlier in Wow Thing. And ensure that as you practice your forearm wheel, you are not taking the weight on the head. You bring the chin to the chest, you press down to the forearms. Okay, lifting in 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, hip high. Chest open and fully extending the arms up. Finding a beautiful distributed back bend. Connecting with the breath, deep long breaths into the heart. And as you exhale, firming the lower belly, pelvic floor lifts. Now decide if you want to. Let's come down. Crown of the head to the mat, elbows bent. Okay, place the hands behind the head. And pressing into the forearms as you lift the head off the mat. Beautiful. The Viparita Dandasana, inverted staff pose. Today we want to do a special variation, just like in your bridge pose. Can you now start to tiptoe the feet up? Elevate the hips a little bit higher, find more openness in the shoulders. Exhale, trying to drop the tailbone downwards, and creating that beautiful shape that you will feel really strongly in your shoulders. And then inhale, hips up. Exhale, drop the tips, drop your tailbone. Strong back muscles engaging. Inhale, and you push upwards. Good. 3 more rounds at your own pace. Again, this can be done from a wheel pose or a bridge pose position. Please find a practice that then works for your body. And even though perhaps you are not able to create the same movement that Anis is doing, but that is fine, as long as you find that movement happening in the body. When you're ready, arms straight for a wheel pose. Exhale, chin to chest as you slowly lower down to the shoulders and lower the hips down, resting the body on the mat. Good. Again, please bring your knees to the chest, decompress lower back. And that'll do. As you rock up now to a seated position, prepare for your inversion, Pincha Mayurasana. Forearm stand, also called the feathered peacock. Lowering the forearms to the mat, one at a time or both together. Finding the appropriate distancing once again in the forearms. This time rock the body forward so you stack your shoulders above the elbow. And stay strong, pushing everything away from the mat. Now try walking the feet closer, and once you are in full position, elevate one leg and tiptoe your bottom leg to find the stack of the hips. Maybe you are carefully jumping and kicking. Beautiful. Catching the balance as you lengthen up through the entire body from the strong foundation of the forearms. Carefully now find your way to your tuck position. Beautiful. Take your time, no rush to drop your gaze. Movement of the hips backwards is counterbalanced by the heart opening forwards. Breath by breath, moment by moment. You are in a Hollowback inversion. Staying strong on the forearms. And now starting to really maximize the stretching of the front line of the body, especially feel it in the armpits. Movement of the hip backwards is countered by the heart moving forwards. And that'll do. Release gently, bring it down, resting in child's pose position on the mat. Beautiful practice, Anis. So strong. Take a moment feeling the effect of that strong inversion in the body. The Hollowback shape works to really open the upper body and finds movement, but also the strength in the shoulders. So when you're ready, come back up now to tabletop, which is hands and knees position. And we do a quick twist, extending the left arm upwards to the left. Inhale, twisting. And now wrap the left arm underneath the body to the right. Exhale. With the right arm, half binding. Reaching the opposite inner leg. And stay holding this pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Untwist body. Return to tabletop pose. With the right hand, inhale up. Beautiful. Exhale, wrap it under the body and extend as far to the left as you can. With the left arm, take it into a half bound position. A counter stretch in your shoulders. And stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release as you slowly take it back, resting in child's pose position. In child's pose with the hips resting over the ankles of the feet. Okay, let's come up to a kneeling position, sitting straight. And then clasping the heels of the feet with the hands from the outside, little fingers in, thumbs outwards. Take a breath in, open chest, look upwards. Exhale, please tuck the chin into the neck, look down at your navel, and gently round your back. Carefully now, one vertebrae at a time, upper back, middle back, lower back, targeting to have the forehead touch your knees, even before the crown of the head touch the mat, or as close as you can. Now lift the hips up off the mat. Beautiful, hang on to those heels, and allow the strong flexion to happen in your spine. So if you want to deepen this pose, you can consider shuffling the knees closer in to touch the forehead. Knees touching the forehead, and then continuing to find the height of your hips. Beautiful. Even feel the stretch across your shoulders. The space between the shoulder blades. And stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release gently. Let's lower down slowly. Good. As you rise back upwards again, arrange your legs so that you are practicing Baddha Konasana, butterfly. You have your sit bones on the mat with the feet together and knees wide apart, holding onto the feet. And then maybe a few flaps of the butterfly wings. Good. With the inhalation, knees up. And then exhale firmly, bringing knees down to the mat. Next inhale, lengthen upwards to the crown of the head. Try to maintain this length forwards on the exhale. As deep as you can, come down to bring the feet into the chest as you guide the chin down, resting on the mat. Releasing all the residual tension that's still there in the lower back. Okay, and then slowly come back upwards again. That'll do. Release from Baddha Konasana. Arrive on your mat in Shavasana. Let's end the practice. Spreading out the arms and legs comfortably wide with toes outwards and heels inwards. Palms facing upwards and eyes gently closed. Corpse pose. Giving rest to the body. So thank you very much for joining Anna's on the mat today and spending your time with us. Keep practicing with joy in the body and peace in the heart. Namaste and see you soon.